Have you been wondering exactly what is this whole FIRE movement and can it really work for me? I mean, you watch videos, some people love it, some people hate it, some people say that it'll never work because it's so unreasonable. Well, if you've been wondering exactly what it is and can it really work for you, you're in the right place. Hello, my name is Gerard Anderson, and I would like to welcome you to the Path to Financial Independence channel. Well, my mission is simply to share with you information that you can take action on that will help move you one step closer to financial independence. So be sure to watch this video to the very end, and I guarantee you, if nothing else, you have some actionable things that you can do to move you one step closer to financial independence. So let me say this before I get started. I am not a financial advisor, number one, and I am not giving you financial advice. The information that I share in these videos are for education and entertainment purposes only. So please, please, please do your own due diligence. Don't take my word for it. Go out and do your own research. Check me, fact check me, make sure everything is accurate. And if need be, please go and get the professional advice of a financial advisor who can advise you on the particulars of your individual financial situation and circumstances. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. So let me just give you an overview of what we're going to go through today. So I'm going to give you a real comprehensive definition of what FIRE is. But not only that, I'm going to show you how you can take components of it and leverage it so you can begin to create your own personal individual path to financial independence. So this video is really for the newbie, it's for the novice, it's for the beginner, somebody who's just getting started with their financial journey, and you're just looking for some practical things that you can do to help lay a foundation as you begin your journey to financial independence. Okay, so let's start here. Exactly what in the world is FIRE? FIRE, the acronym stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. Okay, so make sure you write that down because those two words, they're going to be very important. We're going to come back to it later. Financial independence and retire early. All right, so let me read to you a definition for financial independence. Financial independence, retire early is a lifestyle movement. Very important. Not just a movement, it's a lifestyle movement that encourages individuals to commit to extreme measures of saving and investing so they can retire early. So what does the FIRE movement, what does this lifestyle movement consist of? Number one, saving and investing 50% of your income. Number two, living a frugal, minimalist lifestyle. In other words, you're living as far beneath your means as possible. So you're not living extravagantly, you're not spending any excess money, you're living as frugal as possible, and you're not wasting any money. Okay, the third component of it is called the rule of 25. So how do you know when you reach financial independence? Well, according to the movement, most people use the rule of 25, and basically the rule of 25 states that you multiply your annual or yearly expenses by 25, and that's the magic number that you're trying to get to so you can eventually get to a place of retirement. So another component of FIRE is called the 4% rule. So what does the 4% rule mean? It means withdrawing 4% or less of this money that you have invested to live off of. So saving and investment, you have the 25% rule and you have the 4% rule. So the ultimate goal is to get to a place where you accumulate enough wealth that you don't have to live off of, or you no longer need to depend on traditional income, i.e., your job, your paycheck, your 9 to 5, and that income or that what you have invested produces enough interest for you to live off of. Now, I can already hear some of the chit chatter going on in your head. Gerard, there ain't no way in hog heaven that I could save 50% and I wouldn't even know where to invest my money to get a rate of return that's above 4%. Listen, I got you. When I heard this the first time, I didn't even pay any attention to it because I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like I'm already, man, my dollar is stretched so far, it sweats, man. I mean, my dollar is just stretched out so far. When I first heard this, I didn't even give it any attention because probably like you, it just didn't even seem realistic for me to do. And also, I'm not trying to live a minimalist lifestyle. You know, I want to have some luxuries. I want to enjoy life. So at first I dismissed it, but something brought it back around to my attention, and I want to bring that to your attention. Break FIRE down into financial independence, okay? Let's leave the retire early off because, and I'll tell you more about, we're not even going to talk about retire early because we kind of already are fixed into that work until 65 and retire. But just think about financial independence, okay? I just want you to really get that into your thinking. Set financial independence as an end goal versus retirement. I want you to really think about, how can I make it work for me? So, and I'm going to go over 7 reasons people don't believe they can do FIRE, but I want you to look at it from a different perspective. I want you to think about, how can I take these concepts and actually make them work for me? So, but let's look at 7 reasons that people don't believe they can do FIRE. Number 1, the limitations of their current lifestyle, whether that is, you may have a limited income, you may have a whole lot of debt, you may have a whole lot of responsibilities, and you just may not have the discipline. So those things make you feel like, I can't do that because I'm not making enough money, or man, you know how much student loan debt I got, and you talking about paying 50, saving 50%? That's not even feasible. Or you just may be, I don't even have the discipline to do that. I got you. That's okay. Don't worry about that. We're going to bring these things to the forefront of your thinking, and then I'm going to tell you why, even despite these things, you can still make FIRE work for you. Number 2, you know, people talk about retiring early. I'm too old. I'm too late in the game. And to be perfectly transparent with you, when I first ran across this FIRE concept, I was already like 45, 46 years old. I'm 47 now, and so, you know, I heard people looking to retire in their early 30s, and I'm just like, oops, I already missed that bus, so guess I'll go ahead and ride on out to 65. No, you're not too old. It's not too late, because I want you to focus on, don't worry about the retire part. We'll get to that later. I just want you to focus on financial independence. You are never too old to be in pursuit or be to achieve financial independence. I don't care how old you are. Financial independence, if you haven't gotten to that place yet, it should always be a goal in front of you to work towards achieving. The third reason is inability to save 50%. So we talked a little bit about that. Gerard, look, I get it, I understand it, but I just got too many responsibilities. I can't save 50% right now. That's okay. We're going to get to that. The next reason, low investment IQ. Like, all of my money is in my retirement, my 403b, my 401k. I wouldn't even know where to put money at to get a rate of return that I could actually have enough to live off of 4%. So you may think you have a low investment IQ and you might be discouraged because of that. Don't worry about that. These are just reasons that people talk themselves out of it before they even give themselves the chance. Another reason is difficulty finding investments that have a decent rate of return. So like I said, you may be thinking, like, I wouldn't even know where to look at to find investments that yield 8% return so I could live off the 4%. That's okay. Don't let that be a deterrent for you. The next reason is the desired lifestyle. So maybe you don't want to live like a minimalist. Like me, I want to enjoy life, man. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to have the nice things that I want. So I don't want to wait until retirement to be able to enjoy a certain level of life. Now, granted, I know I can't ball out now and still get to a place where I want to retire early. I'm going to have some discipline. But there are levels to this, and there's a balance to it that you have to find. So I'm not saying that you have to live this real. I know this is what the traditional FIRE movement is saying, that you have to live really, really, really frugal. But listen, we're gonna tweak this and make it work for us. I want you to tweak it and make it work for you. So don't let your desired lifestyle and seemingly not being able to live that lifestyle be a deterrent from you embracing some of the components of the FIRE movement. And the last reason, number 7, is your mindset, your belief system, your programming, your habits, and your routine. This is where, honestly, on this channel, this area right here is where I'm going to spend the majority of my time, because most of the limitations that you're encountering now, most of the things that have you feeling like making it to that next place or that place of financial freedom, financial independence, abundance, most of the reasons why that seems so far-fetched or seems so far out of reach for you is because of these areas: your mindset, your beliefs, your programming, your habits, and your routines. So if you can change all of those different things and program it for financial independence, abundance, being able to live life on your own terms, if you can replace those things with those type of thoughts, then you'll get to a place where financial independence and getting to a place of living an abundant lifestyle, it'll seem easy to you. Okay? So with all of that being said, I gave you the reason why people usually don't want to fool with the FIRE movement. Now I'm going to tell you exactly why it's imperative that you create your own FIRE. So I grew up in a family of educators, and I was taught, as most of you probably were, to go to school and get your degree, get your education, so you can go to college, get your degree, and then you get a well-paying job and work and retire. And so I did that. So I went to school, I got my undergrad degree, and I went back and just to make sure that I'm making the type of money that I want to make, I went back and got a master's degree. And so I knew that I was going to be making big money when I got out of school because I had a master's degree. Well, guess what? I got my master's degree in social work, just so you know. And what happened is, my first job that I got was in an elementary school, but they paid me on a salary equal to somebody who didn't have a degree. Basically, I was being paid on a classified scale. And so where I was expecting to make $40,000+ in my entry-level position, my first position only paid me $24,000. How insane is that? So I was just like, hold up. Yeah, wait a minute. Y'all made a mistake. You obviously forgot that I got a master's degree. It was like, there's no way I could be making $24,000 with a master's degree. But it was just like, no, in this particular county, that's what we pay. So that was a real big blow to me, because in my mind, I was thinking, I did what you told me to do. I went to school, I got my degree, I got my master's degree, I found a job. Now I'm supposed to be getting paid this big money, but it didn't work like that. So as if that wasn't bad enough, 2 years later, I got laid off of that very same job. Don't ever get too comfortable on anybody's job. I was feeling unfulfilled, all of these feelings of discontent. And what I realized is that I really wanted control over my life, because I felt like I was undervalued. I felt like I was underpaid. I was overwhelmed. I was drained. Um, I felt like I was stagnated and I was really frustrated. And this is what I realized. Okay. So going back to my original point, what I realized was that I was on a default path of life, and my whole life pretty much had already been scripted out. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to read this to you. This is really going to trip you out. But this is what I call the default plan and path for life, for your life too. But tell me if this sounds familiar, okay? And I already told you some of it, but you go to school, make good grades, okay? That's what they taught you. All right, make sure you go to school, get good grades. Number 2, you choose a career path. Number 3, you graduate from high school, then you go to college, and then to go to college, you probably gonna get in student loan debt. We don't talk about that too much, but going to college usually incurs a high amount of debt. And then you get your degree. All right, so this is the default path of life. You get your degree, then you go and find a job. All right, so you find that 9 to 5, and the goal is, think about this now, the goal is that you work on that 9 to 5 for 30 to 40 years until you are eligible to retire. Okay, now let me ask you this: who or what determines when you're eligible to retire? Why don't you have control of that? Just something for you to think about. What would it be like if you could control when you retire? The reason why this financial independence and retire early is so important is because most of you have already been set up on that default path for life. It's like you're on a conveyor belt that you have no control over. So you may have already gotten your degree. Now you're probably in that working 30 to 40 years, probably experiencing a level of unfulfillment, probably not making the type of money that you want to make. And really, probably, if you could, you would leave that job if you didn't have to worry about the money. So the problem is the way the default path is set up. The end goal of that is retirement based off of when somebody else tells you that you can retire, usually around the age of 65. I don't want to work until I'm 65, but that's the way the default path is set up. The other problem with the default path is that somebody else, your employer, your job, whatever, they have control over your financial flow. So take the 2 components of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Those 2 things pretty much comprise the majority of your life, your money, and how you spend your waking hours at work until you get to a place where you don't have to work anymore because you're able to retire. So let's change the narrative. So we're talking about tweaking FIRE. I want you to tweak the default path that you're currently on. So rather than having retirement be your end goal, I want you to make a shift, and I want you to have financial independence to be your end goal. Why? Because if you get to a place where you're financially independent, you can determine when you retire. But nobody ever told you that. They just told you you work until we tell you that you can retire. So now can you begin to see why this financial independence and retire early is so important? Because it shifts your mindset and your belief system, and rather than just going to school and working until you retire, it challenges you to figure out a way that you can get to a place of financial independence and retire early. So that's why I don't want you to be so quick to dismiss this whole idea of FIRE, because even if we didn't necessarily follow the path that they put you on to achieve it, which is living a frugal, minimalist lifestyle, the 4% rule, the 25% rule, even if we didn't subscribe to that, what if we just took the end goal and said, you know what? I may not be able to save 50%, but I am going to figure out what I do need to do and what can I do to get to a place of financial independence and retiring early. Throw out the concept, don't throw away FIRE, tweak it so you can make it work for you. That's why it's imperative for you to create your own FIRE. Why? So you can take back control of your life and get to a place of achieving financial independence and retiring on your own terms. I know I said a whole lot, man. I'm dropping some bars. I hope y'all taking notes, but does that make sense? And I put all of this stuff in the book that I wrote. It's called Breaking Free of the Unfulfillment Trap. A link to a free download of it is down in the notes section, in the description section. So make sure that you go and download your copy of that book and go back and read it so you can really understand this whole concept of the default path of life and regaining control and redirecting your life to get more on the path to financial independence versus the path to retirement. So here's what you need to do to get started creating your own path to financial independence, or creating your own FIRE. Number one, it's simple. Set an intention and make a decision to be financially independent. Do you know how powerful an intention and a decision is? And just to give you an example, just imagine if you was going to take a trip. I live in Georgia, so just imagine if I wanted to take a trip to California. Okay, now my decision and my intention is getting a little bit more focused. So that GPS has a little bit more to work with now, because I'm intentional exactly in what state I want to go. But I'm still a little bit fuzzy because California is a big place. So if I just said California, did I mean Los Angeles? Did I mean San Francisco? Did I mean San Diego? So what if I said, okay, GPS, I want to go to Los Angeles, California. Like, okay. Now you see what the intention and the decision and the specificity is doing, is giving parameters for that GPS to start mapping out a more specific route. What if I said, GPS, I want to go to see a Los Angeles Lakers game at Crypto Arena. Ooh, now it knows exactly where to take me at. It knows exactly where I want to go at. And so getting there now becomes a lot easier because my intention and my decision to go to this specific place has been set, as opposed to just saying, oh, I just want to go to the West Coast. So in terms of what we're talking about, that's like you just saying like, oh, I want to live a good life. No, be more specific. I want to achieve financial independence. Okay, well, that's like going to California. Be more specific. So how do you be more specific? Take that rule of 25 and get your number. I want to be financially independent, characterized by me having this much money and being able to live off of the interest of this much. Okay? So you see how that intention, even if you don't know how, and this is step one again, but I just want you to set an intention and make a decision. That's step number one. Step number two, I want you to define financial independence. Define what it is and what does it look like for you. So you may not need a whole 25, rule of 25, but I need you to really think through, what type of money do you want to have coming in to live your desired lifestyle? I'm not all about that minimalist living. I'm about living a desired lifestyle. What is your desired lifestyle? Maybe you may be into cars, or maybe you want to travel the world, or maybe, you just want to have a big house. I don't know. You have to get specific. What is your desired lifestyle? And then what type of money or what type of financial flow is it going to take to fund your desired lifestyle? Now, mind you, we haven't talked about saving anything yet. We haven't talked about investments. All I want you to do is set an intention and define what does financial independence look like for you. Okay. All right. That's step number 2. And number 3, I want you to change your mindset and belief system where work, time, money, and financial freedom are concerned. Now, I'll do another whole video on this, but I have a book that I wrote called 5-Star Mentality, and it just deals strictly with mindset and belief systems. And so, really, the hardest part of this whole thing is just expanding your mindset to start thinking on a larger level, to start believing that more is possible. And as I was going through this whole process myself years ago, I was thinking, like, what is something that could help expedite the process? And I came up with, like, changing your mindset. And so from that inspiration, and it's a whole story behind it, but my wife and I, we wrote this book called 5-Star Mentality, the Mindset of the Super Achiever. So if you're interested in that, the link to it is in the notes, so go ahead and check that out. And then lastly, I want you to, I remember I told you I was going to share with you 3 steps. 3 steps to move you closer to financial independence. So I'm glad you stayed to the end of this video, because at the end of every video, I'm going to give you 3 steps to help move you 1 step closer to financial independence. So here are the 3 things that I want you to do. Action step number 1, I want you to buy a financial independence notebook. I gave you a whole lot of information here, so you need a place to capture this information and just to write your thoughts down, specifically where your money and financial independence are concerned. So action step number 1, buy a financial independence notebook. Action step number 2, write your intention to be financially independent. So we just talked about that. So that could be as simple as, on this day of such and such, I make a decision and I set an intention that I'm going to be financially independent. And then I want you to write out, how do you define financial independence? What does financial independence look like for you? That's what we just talked about. Put that in your financial independence notebook too, okay? And the last thing I want you to do is get a snapshot of your current financial status. What do you mean by that? So I want you to figure out, how much money do you have coming in each month? What's your annual income? What are your annual expenses? How much debt are you in? What's your financial freedom number? All of that stuff. Get a snapshot of exactly where you are, because going back to the GPS example, you can't get to where you're going unless you have a destination, that you're a place where you're starting from. So in that notebook, I want you to just get a picture of where you're starting from. So any number that'll help bring clarity to your current snapshot, I want you to begin writing that down in this notebook. And then lastly, just leave your comments and your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I know this video was a little bit long, but I really wanted to take the time and really lay a foundation for you where financial independence is concerned. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. So join the Path to Financial Independence community. Go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment, because this is just a taste of what we're going to be doing every single video. And I promise to end each video with something actionable that you can do that'll move you 1 step closer to financial independence. Now, it's up to you to make sure that you take that action, okay? All right, so thank you so much for watching to the very end. So make sure you take advantage of the resources that I'll link down in the description section. And today begins, the day is the beginning of you creating your own path to financial independence. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.